Are Arsenal finally signing the goal machine that will fire them to the Premier League title? Is the Nico Williams to Barcelona transfer about to completely implode? Are Bayern Munich plotting a raid on a Manchester United star? And are Chelsea already wrapping up the deal for Mohammed Kudus? All that and so much more in today's show. And listen, I've got an exclusive one-time offer for you. Hit that like button and you will receive absolutely nothing. Well, apart from a load more transfer rumours, of course. All I'm asking for is 500 likes. Unbelievable generosity, I know. I'm all heart. Done it? Brilliant! Right then, let's get stuck into all the massive deals that probably won't happen. Just a couple of seasons back, Marcus Rashford wasn't just a player for Manchester United, he was the damn pulse of the place. The kid from Wythenshawe, the academy's crown jewel, the one who made Old Trafford feel like a fortress of hope again. And today, he's effectively a clearance item with a €45 million sticker on him. He's become that expensive piece of furniture you can't get out the door, too much sentimental value to chop up for firewood, but an absolute nightmare to shift. So how in the world did it come to this? It's painfully simple. A couple of seasons, wandering the pitch like a ghost, rumblings of a fallout with the gaffer, an eye-watering contract inked just before the nosedive began, and wham, United got caught in a financial bear trap they'd set for themselves. They're saddled with a guy on a king's ransom of a salary who delivers pennies on the dollar in return. He went from being their talisman to their gilded albatross. Ineos, marching in with the subtlety of new management turfing everyone out, took one look at the books and said, "Nope, sell him." But instead of sparking a frenzied auction, crickets. Just a line of headaches. Marcus, bless his heart, still sees himself gliding across the Camp Nou turf for Barça. A lovely thought, truly. The prestige, the legacy. Except Barcelona are currently rummaging through their accounts for loose change. They're broke. Not just a bit tight, but fundamentally, unequivocally broke. €45 million. They'd have better luck finding that buried under the pitch. Then you have Newcastle, sniffing around for a loan. For United, that's not a solution. It's a postponement of the inevitable. They need the capital now, not to sponsor his year-long vacation on Tyneside. FFP is breathing down their necks, you see, and just as the situation looked utterly hopeless, the unmistakable purr of a German engine approached. Bayern Munich, the titans of cold, hard logic. A club that treats transfer fees with the reverence of state secrets. Yet they have a gap. Sané is out, and Rashford, on paper, is a disturbingly perfect fit. Pace to burn, versatile, a veteran of big stages. He's practically engineered for the beautiful mayhem of the Bundesliga. And the real twist, that brief, brilliant loan spell at Villa in January. He showed up, shook off the rust, scored a few, and reminded everyone of the electricity he possesses. Suddenly he wasn't damaged goods anymore, he was a calculated risk. For Bayern, this is a known quantity with a massive upside, a weapon waiting to be reforged. Yet, we're at a standstill. United are holding firm, €45 million, non-negotiable. The market plays its usual games, whispering about loans and try-before-you-buy nonsense. Meanwhile, Rashford waits, passport in hand. Ornstein confirms he's game for a move overseas. The only thing left is the suffocating sense of what could have been and what a waste it might all become. It's that time of year again. The transfer window opens and with it, Manchester United's sat-nav of common sense promptly throws itself out the nearest window. Their latest mad dash adventure apparently leads straight to Paris, with their sights set on Fabian Ruiz. And, in fairness, you can connect the dots. The Spaniard was an absolute animal last season. 5 goals, 10 assists. United's midfield hasn't posted figures like that since their players still had youthful optimism. You can practically see Ruben Amorim, haunted by the ghosts of sideways passes past, pleading with the board for someone with a functioning football brain. He doesn't just need legs, he needs a conductor. A presence that doesn't view pressure as a personal affront. They are starved of tactical intelligence, and Ruiz, at 29, is practically a walking, talking solution. But, and here's where the script gets handed to a writer of absurdist theatre, the messaging from Paris is a masterpiece of contradiction. On one hand, you have Luis Enrique proclaiming Ruiz, Vitinha and Neves are the best midfield on earth. You've got to admire the sheer bravado. Then, from a different desk in the same building, comes the leak. Yeah, but, he might be the first one to get benched if a decent offer lands. I'm sorry, what? How can one be a third of the planet's greatest midfield and simultaneously be sat on an ejector seat? Is Enrique pioneering some kind of Schrodinger's midfield? It's utterly nonsensical. United, naturally, are looking to dive headfirst into this pool of chaos. They're ready to pitch Ruiz the dream. Forget the Parisian mind games. Come to us, you're the main man. Every week, no questions asked. Until the inevitable hamstring ping, of course. This is still United. The spanner in the works? The price. Transfermarkt values him at 40 million euros, but PSG aren't known for straightforward business. You can practically smell the United tax being calculated, with an added surcharge for their desperation. And of course, in the distance, you can hear the faint sound of Al Nassr's money-counting machines whirring to life. So it's the same old dance. United are tangled in another complex, high-stakes pursuit of a player they desperately need. They want their maestro. But landing him means outmaneuvering a schizophrenic PSG, outbidding a nation-state, and perhaps finally, clearing out some of the high-earning dead weight from their own roster. Will this chase end with a standing ovation or the familiar sad trombone? This one's going to be a ride. Should be easy, right? Player wants in, club wants him. A release clause is sitting right there in plain sight. Just wire the money. But let's not kid ourselves. This is Barcelona. Straightforward is a foreign concept. So instead of a simple transaction, we get a primetime soap opera starring Nico Williams, who's already picking out curtain colours for his new life in Catalonia. You've got BARÇA, who are desperately trying to find the 62 million euros needed by shaking every piggy bank in the city. And then you have the agent, a man who seems to view Barcelona's financial assurances as pure fantasy. It's a high-stakes poker game, and Nico has thrown down the gauntlet. A Saturday deadline. He's due back at Athletic Bilbao for pre-season on July 9th, and showing his face there after all this. Yikes. Maximum awkwardness. Barca are ready to call, but this is where the dealer, the agent, reveals a card so wild it almost flips the entire table. Brace yourself. The agent's demand: sure, pay the 62 million euros, but if you fail to register him in La Liga because of your, let's call them persistent FFP issues, he walks for free. Excuse me? The club risks flushing 62 million euros down the drain only for their star signing to become a free agent weeks later. That's not a clause. That's a stick of dynamite handed to a club already standing in a house of cards. To say the Barca board was flawed would be an understatement. They thought this was a done deal. You can just picture the suits, brandishing spreadsheets and projections, trying to convince the agent that this time, for real, their finances are under control. And the agent, with a deadpan stare, thinking, I've heard bedtime stories more believable than this. The club, for once showing some backbone, refused. A clause like that is a one-way trip to financial ruin and a hailstorm of lawsuits. And just as the whole thing was about to implode, Nico stepped up. The player, apparently sick of the games, reportedly told his agent to cut the nonsense and get it done. It's amazing what a little clarity can do, isn't it? When you know what you want, you just make the call. If you've been on the fence, maybe it's time to take a page from Nico's book and just click that subscribe button. No absurd clauses, no drama, just a solid choice. Nico's desire is so strong, he's given the club power of attorney to ram it through. And just like that, thanks to the player's will, Barca seems to hold the winning hand again. Friday is circled on the calendar as the day. This whole mess is modern football in a nutshell. A player desperate to play, a club desperate to buy, and a deal held hostage by one man's ludicrous power play. Can they defuse the bomb his agent planted? The clock is ticking. Imagine West Ham, a club so strapped for cash they've essentially put their crown jewel, Mohammed Kudus, on a makeshift stall in the middle of a frantic market. The sign reads, "For sale, one of the league's best players, a dribbling wizard, price negotiable, please form an orderly queue." Yes, the Hammers need to fund their own rebuild, and they've decided the fastest way is to auction off their star man. Naturally, the vultures are circling. From one corner, Tottenham, flashing a thick roll of notes and the allure of Champions League nights. They've already had a £50 million bid swatted away, but they're persistent. And from the other corner, Chelsea, a club whose transfer strategy appears to be, if it moves and has talent, acquire it, regardless of whether they have space, a plan, or even a spare locker. This leaves West Ham in a wonderfully awkward bind. They need the funds like yesterday, but sell their prized asset to their hated rivals Spurs? Not a chance. Their relationship is so toxic they'd rather gift wrap him for Chelsea than give Tottenham the satisfaction. Now, Kudus has an £85 million release clause in his contract. But the desperation for an immediate cash infusion is so real, they're reportedly willing to listen to offers around the £60 million mark. That should be Chelsea's music, right? An open goal. But then we must account for the beautiful chaos that is the Chelsea transfer committee. One report claims they need to offload players first to make it work. Another says they don't give a damn and are preparing a bid anyway, driven by the pure, unadulterated fear of Spurs getting him first. It's the Chelsea way. Financial planning is for other clubs. The player, for his part, is said to be dreaming of a move to Stamford Bridge, a desire he's held since his Ajax days. And here's a spicy tidbit from the rumour mill. He apparently never saw eye to eye with Graham Potter. The message couldn't be clearer. The man wants a new home and he's already picked out the postcode. To throw more fuel on the fire, Manchester United and Newcastle are lingering in the shadows. And then there are the Saudi clubs, for whom the release clause is a laughable £125 million, what they'd call a rounding error. So here's the situation. A full-scale turf war over a player his own club is pushing out the door. Spurs are applying pressure with hard cash. Chelsea are trying to charm their way in while doing complex financial gymnastics. There's even talk of a player plus cash swap to tempt West Ham. This is going to be magnificent anarchy, and you just know another club is about to jump in when you least expect it. Let's call it what it is. For years now, we've watched the same movie on repeat. Arsenal craft a team that plays football from the gods. Arteta conducts a symphony of attacking movement. But when the crescendo hits, when the moment demands a simple, brutal finish, the final note is always flat. Every season they get within touching distance of a trophy, and every post-mortem comes to the same conclusion: they're missing a number 9, a predator, a stone-cold killer in the box. And now, finally, a name has emerged from the shadows: Victor Gyökeres. If you were living under a rock last season, the summary is this. The guy isn't a player, he's a force of nature. For Sporting last season, 54 goals and 13 assists across all competitions. Just let that number rattle around in your brain for a second. With that kind of firepower up top, the title conversation shifts from what if to when. Everything was looking smooth. Arsenal's new sporting director, Andrea Berta, on his first big assignment, moved fast. Terms with Gyökeres? Locked in, 5-year deal, salary sorted. Reports even claim the Swede is browsed for houses in North London, making it crystal clear he only has eyes for Arsenal. A dream scenario, but for one tiny detail: Sporting, who know they're holding a tactical nuke. Their price? A cool €80 million up front, no payment plans, no funny business. The Portuguese club, smelling the desperation wafting over from London, have dug in their heels, but that's not even the craziest part. The true puppet master here, the man pulling the strings, is his agent, Hassan Chetinkaya. This guy is a genius and maybe a little evil, because he baked a clause into Gyökeres' contract that is simply breathtaking in its audacity. You ready? If Sporting reject an offer over €60 million, they still have to pay the agent a 10% commission on the rejected offer. Let me repeat that. The club says no and pays a penalty for not taking the money. It's a financial masterstroke of the highest order. It's a heist where the getaway driver gets paid even if the robbery fails. Unsurprisingly, Sporting's president, Federico Varandas, is spitting fire. He's accused the agent of sabotage and is threatening to make Arsenal trigger the full, non-negotiable release clause, €100 million in one lump sum. Take it or leave it. This isn't just another transfer. Arsenal already backed out of the race for Benjamin Šeško. The pressure is immense. Arteta has been runner-up twice. Everyone on earth knows what they're missing. Gyökeres isn't just a signing, he's the potential solution. The man who could turn all that pretty passing into cold, hard silverware. So, this is the endgame. Sporting are trapped by a deal of their own making. The agent profits no matter what happens. The player is pushing, and Arsenal are standing there with a war chest and a glaring hole in their team. This isn't about who blinks first anymore. It's about how much Arsenal are willing to pay to complete the puzzle. And it looks like the agent is about to get very, very rich.